on statistical analysis, CBC ratings. We look at a few different factors, market networks, evaluate it as a whole. My name is Bo. I'm with Purdue University Global. It is the end of March. I'm looking forward to your questions at the end. Let's get into it. Welcome, CBC executives. Welcome to our statistical analysis of business outcomes, looking at the ratings for CBC, looking at the ratings for ABN, BBS, identifying strengths, weaknesses, some things that the hypothesis test, looking at the means, the averages. Let's look out. Let's take a look here at the means across all networks. You can see in this chart here, CBC has the lowest average rating across all three networks from the data that we drew, the data that we had, which was 12-month period, January to December. We found ABN to have the highest ranked mean network overall. CBC was the lowest. The average cross industry here, you can see as marked by the dashed red line, was 14 and a half. CBC fell below that by about one full rating point. On the left-hand side here, you can see the CBC ratings are spread out, but most importantly, there are a couple of outliers that end up pulling the data, skewing the data positively when the rest are clustered more closely towards a lower value. So the data is slightly skewed, as you can see by the outliers illustrated here. Now, we take a look at the descriptive statistics across all the networks, highlighting here on CBC. There is a kurtosis value of 215, fairly high value, particularly in comparison with the other two. And this circles back around to data being clustered in one area. The skewness 1.36 here indicates a right skew, meaning the graphical outlay of the data will have a long tail to the right and be peaked towards the lower end of the spectrum, left of center, where the frequency of data points lie. This is pulled to center slightly more. The reason it has long tail like this, because of those outliers that we saw in the scatter chart. Box and whisker plot here gives you an idea of where most of the data points fell. Box and whisker illustrates the 25 percentile, 50 percentile, 75 percentile, and the 100 percentile, with the line in the middle of the box there representing median. So median is lower than, skewing the peak of the chart to the left. Data values moving that direction. And while CBC didn't have the greatest range of all of the sample networks relative to the size number of population sampled, its range was considerable. You can see on the very left, ABN range was the greatest range. However, ABN also had the highest number of responses to the survey. Standard deviation at CBC 1.78 indicates mild variability. Again, the tight clustering of the data points is a good example of solid clustering that would give us that standard deviation. So there's a consistency in the ratings.